Welcome back to Dinosaur Island Revival. We start this season with looking at a lonely Styracosaurus. He's grazing right now. However, he feels something is not right. The Styracosaurus runs in fear. He does not want to become Saber's meal. However, Saber follows closely behind. Suddenly, the Styracosaurus is brought to a stop. Junior has emerged from the plains and is now ambushing the Styracosaurus. He is now outnumbered. The Styracosaurus then runs to his side. This is his chance to escape. Suddenly another T-Rex emerges. Styracosaur turns back to go back, but the Saber and Junior are still waiting for him. He is truly surrounded now. Styracosaurus is about to make a bolt for the bushes. However, his plans may not succeed. The youngest of the group managed to take down the Styracosaurus. We see the T-Rex have been practicing this technique ever since we left them. The more members they've gained, the greater they've become and perfected this skill. The two T-Rexes that we do not recognize is Sarah, Saber's mate, and Matthew, all growing up. It has been 6 years since we last saw the T-Rex pack, and 5 years since we were last on the island. A lot has changed. Some for the better, some for the worse. However, that was the north side. This season we will be at both sides. And right now, we are in the south with the Dilophosaur family. Here we see Silas and Vicky watching as something comes towards them. It is their son, Barney. In the 5 years since we last seen him, he has grown a lot. Although it seems like not much has changed with the pack, Vicky is pregnant and is about time to lay her eggs. This will mean she will need Barney and Silas to be on full alert during her pregnancy, or else she will perish. She begins making her nest. This will take many hours and many days, but when it's done, it will all be worth it. Vicky may have just only started making her nest, but predators are already aware of her pregnancy. One predator in particular that has a hatred for this pack. However, only about a mile away, another predator is pregnant, about to lay their eggs and make a nest. That predator is Greyfun. Her mate unfortunately died due to a rival in this area, a rival that is still hunting her down. However, she is due to lay her eggs, and she does not have time to run. She must do it here and now. In the 5 years since we last saw her, her scars from that battle against Hunter and the Ceratopsians have recovered. But now, she's leading a new life. She's about to become a mother. Now, we are back on the south side. in the dark woodland, or at the edge of it at least. And you all know what lives at the edge of the dark woodland. Here we see the Utahraptor pack, and they have taken down a kill, a juvenile Apatosaurus. This kill will last them for at least a couple months. And the whole pack gathers round to feast. Much like other packs though, you may notice some new faces. Allow me to show you. This is Shredder, one of the older Utahraptors in the pack, almost as old as the elder Utahraptor. Switchblade, Shadow's father, and alongside him is Cutlass, Shadow's mate. We also have Alan, Shaman, who is Shredder's son. We also have, on the edge, the two non-Utahraptor members, Fury, and also Alpha, the Deltadromeus. We know a lot about his parents, but not so much about him. That's right, his parents are Delta and Dongy. When the Utahraptor pack decided to take down sauropods, they needed more members. So they called to the second pack, featuring Switchblade, Shredder, Cutlass, and also some other members of the Dark Forest, being Alpha and Fury. Switchblade is old now, very old indeed. He's the elder of the pack. He's the oldest member, but he is not the leader. The leader is still Shadow, alongside Cutlass. The pack seems to be functioning very well right now. Very well indeed. However, Fury does wish to be with the scavengers again. It's a shame they're on the opposite side of the island. That is a journey he does not wish to take. Meanwhile, here we are, back in the northern rainforest, which is still recovering from the forest fire 5 years ago. Since then, new trees have sprouted, new life has formed, and new animals live here. Some of those new animals are the Hadrosaur herd. The Hadrosaur herd has remained mainly unchanged since we last saw them. Para is still leading, however, we've gained a new member, Iggy, the Iguanodon. He's an old friend of Para's, and he knew Stoneback as well. After Season 3 of Dinosaur Island, about 20 years after, the three became a trio, until an unfortunate event separated them. However, now Iggy has returned to his friend. We also still have Cindy and Nick and Ollie, who are still getting on fine. However, at the back of the herd, there seems to be a massive, and I mean massive, change. This is Buck. He's grown a lot in the 5 years since we last saw him. He's actually abnormally large. He may be the largest Triceratops on the island right now. And that gives him great power. And is a great thing to have in a herd of seemingly defenseless hadrosaurs. However, the herd is no longer staying in the northern rainforest. They are migrating down south for one reason, and one reason alone: to deliver Buck to his family again. And they're halfway there. Meanwhile, in the south, here we can see the Ceratopsian herd are grazing, while Zeus and Tony train. Everyone is getting ready for the upcoming event, where members will try to become the leader on duels against each other. The winners of the duels will become the leader. This happens every year, but no one is surprised that it's Zeus almost every time, without fail. One thing we can also say is that the herd is a lot bigger than Season 1. We have the addition of the 2 remaining northern ceratopsians, Mercury and Hercules. Also, the Season 1 ceratopsians are still here. Achilles, the Ankylosaurus, Hades, the Pachyrhinosaurus, Wrigley, the Xenoceratops, and Orion, the Taurosaurus, as well as Blaze, the Diabloceratops, Tank, the Avaceratops, and Polly, the Nazutoceratops. But there is a new addition. This is Quill. He is an Ionosaurus. We also still have Strack, who is watching from the edge, alongside his adopted daughter, Sophia, who has grown up since we last saw her. Ever since Crimson died, he took it upon himself to look after Sophia. And that is what he's done throughout her whole life. And he does not plan on leaving her anytime soon. And we still have Tony, who has also grown up, and Zeus. Let's see what they're doing. Zeus is training up Tony. However, Tony is not doing so well. Seeing as Zeus is going to retire one day, possibly even die before then, Tony will have to be his next successor. Especially how he does not know that his son Buck is still alive. This is the last child he has left. Tony has knocked Zeus over in a fit of rage. Tony expects to be punished for this. Instead, his father shares an embrace. He's proud of his son. His son finally managed to win one fight against him. However, he does not think it will be enough to win the fight against some other members of the herd. Tony shouts at his father as he walks away in disappointment. He thinks he will never be as good as his father, but he wants to prove them wrong. However, watching the herd is a mating pair of ceratosauruses. Cleo, the female, is the brown one, and the green one is Rogue, the male. These two have been watching this herd for quite some time now, and are about ready to make their move. However, unfortunately for Cleo and Rogue, Strack has spotted them. The herd is now getting into formation. Within only a minute, the herd is already in their defensive position. The strongest members at the front and the weaker ones at the back. Rogue and Cleo now approach. Having seen the herd, they decide to leave. Now our final location for this episode is Mount Evolution, where the scavengers reside, and it seems they're in a bit of trouble. The Andrewsarchus that was attacking Melvin has now been scared off by Smokey. The other two rush to help Crash. Crash is facing off against an Intelodont. The Impelodont has pinned Crash down, but Crash gets up and with one swipe knocks the Intelodont out cold. Blizzard goes up. He is not going to miss the opportunity for some free food. The scavengers now gather round for their last meal on Mount Evolution, as they are about to migrate to the south. The reason they are migrating to the south is because a new wave of mammals have been created by a company called Cryogen. Their wave 2 has a lot more carnivores, such as Entelodont, Andrewsarchus, Hyenodon, and much, much more. This is making life for the scavengers increasingly difficult, and it gets worse and worse every day. The fact Melvin almost died today has made their decision final. Tomorrow, they shall leave. The day has now passed, and the scavengers are resting in their den. However, it is time for them to leave. Smokey rises and wakes up his fellow members. Without further ado, the scavengers begin to leave, one by one. And as they leave for the south, another dinosaur that also lives on Mount Evolution watches as they leave. Hunter. He is now the alpha predator of Mount Evolution.